Welcome back to the channel. I'm Brother Yaban. This is Brother Adrian. We're over here going to teach a class. This class is going to be about Gentiles and the separation of Israel's and distinction between Gentiles and Israelites. Um, in fact, let's start always starting by giving most praise to the Most High and His only begotten Son, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus, but we say Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shai,
Yahweh Hashem,
Barakatah,
Yahweh Shai,
Barakatah.
Barakatah.
All right, so all praises to the Most High and His only begotten Son. That's what we're saying there. Okay, so let's get to it, man, because there's a lot to go through, and I'm gonna try to give a crash course on the lineage of Israel and show how the Gentiles are separate from us, how they are the heathen, okay, and so they can't be in no way, shape, or form accepted as a part of us or even unto the kingdom. So, with that being said, Strong's H1471 is goy, goy, the word for Gentile, and in the Greek, it's ethnos. Okay, and if we look up the definitions of these, which you can do on your own, like I said, I'm gonna try to fly through these things. Anything that you have in doubt, best believe everything that I say comes from this word, or it can be easily looked up. Okay, so I put in the work for you, so you don't have to. But if you doubt in any shape or form, feel free. The Lord says, prove all things. And so we're here to prove that we are, that the Most High is a separatist and that he only separated and elected a certain people unto him. And I'm going to prove that by demonstrating the lineage, the migratory lineage, and not only the migratory lineage, the way that the Most High has cultivated us, has herded us throughout time and throughout the generations. Okay, so with that being started, let's get again giving all praises to the Most High and His only begotten Son. Hallelujah. Let's go with this. All right, so brother, if you please, Genesis 10 and 5. All right, so here we're gonna establish a point in time of Babel. I'm gonna start with Babel because this is where the Most High, well, He separated us before then, and you're gonna know this through Noah. And we're gonna go through all that, but whenever you're ready, you got it.
Genesis 10:5.
Read.
By these were the isles of the Gentiles divided in their lands, every one after his tongue, after their families, in their nations.
Okay, so as you can see, there's a clear separation. I'm going to let the word speak for itself. I'm not going to do too much elaboration because this is like Israelite 101. Just listen to what the word is saying and you can see there is a clear division there. All right, let's jump and start with the lineage. All right, Genesis 5. Let's go to chapter 5. We're going to start from the top. Whenever you're ready.
Genesis 5, starting with verse 1.
Okay.
This is a book of the generations of Adam. In the day that God created man in the likeness of God, made he him.
Okay. So I'm gonna start with Adam because everybody is gonna go, well, Adam was the first man. There's another lesson that in time I will teach, that there was more people on earth. Man, when man was created, it was created as man, as a bulk of man, and Adam was actually the first spirit. In fact, he was per se the first Israelite, but the Israelites weren't established yet. I'm going to show you how we go through this, how through Adam, okay, because now God is showing his elect. I have a verse here that I'll read later on, but verbatim through the word. But the word says that He established us. He elected us since before the foundations of the earth were established. Before he even made creation, he knew the game plan. He knew where he was going with this. Okay, so he starts with Adam. Adam is like point. He is the alpha. That's key stuff right there. Okay, so jump down to verse 12.
Genesis 5:12. And Cainan lived 70 years and beget Mahalalel.
Mahalil. Okay, so he begot Mahalil. So I'm just gonna show you. I can go up further where he begot Seth, and of course Adam gave to the firstborns are Cain and Abel, and then so through them, then he begot Seth, and then from Seth we go to Enos and Canaan, and then and we can go. Then now I'm just jumping ahead to Mahalil. Mahalil begot Jared, which I was gonna include that one. So let's jump on to 18.
Says, and Jared lived 162 years, and he begot Enoch.
All right, now Enoch is an important figure. If people that read the word know about Enoch, we know that Enoch was taken up. Okay, so Enoch is an important figure to be taken up by the Most High. Okay, so but you see, we're going down the lineage of Adam, and so then Enoch begot Jared, begot Enoch, and so then now Enoch begets Methuselah. So if we know Methuselah is the grandpa to Noah. So read 25.
Says, Genesis 5:25, and Methuselah lived 187 years and beget Lamech.
All right, so 187 years. So now you see that he lived, and now I want y'all to pay attention. If you go back into the beginnings of Genesis and you go through these stories, you have to see the timeline. There were some of these men that were living close to 1,000 years, and some close to 300. And so we're doing the math. Even before we even get to the children of Israel, we're looking at 1,000, at the very least, 1,000 to 1,500 years of separation. Okay, so you're gonna see that our generation now is kind of like we're living in modern times, but we haven't been that far off from when this all began, from the times of Christ till now. So when is Yahweh going to send the Messiah? And we've been waiting for so long. You got to understand that one of God's days are 1,000 to us. So we're going to try to get a timeline going here so you can see. All right. So now Methuselah, he begot Lamech. Okay. And so then who did Lamech beget? Okay, so let's go to read 28 and 29.
Genesis 5:28-29. And Lamech lived 182 years and begat a son. And he called his name Noah, saying, this name shall comfort us concerning our work and toil of our hands, because of the ground which the Lord hath cursed.
So now you know. All right, just to give you a quick vision of what was going on at that time. Man was running amok. Everything was going crazy. So you know that Noah and his ark are one of the most simplistic stories of the Bible, where most everyone knows what the deal was there. God had to destroy the rest of man via the flood, and he commanded Noah to build an ark. So you're going to see that now that Noah, we already established, comes from all that line of Adam, right? So now Noah, the seed continues through Noah, right? And so now we're going to have to show the lineages of Noah. Okay, so if we jump to actually read me 32 so we can find out who is going to be the lineage of Noah. And this is where separation starts. Well, it's already been such separation because he carried that lineage through Adam. I already gave you a clue that there was other men and other people. You already knew that he didn't maintain the lineage of any other type of people because he destroyed the earth via water, right? He flooded them out and destroyed them, and he kept one specific lineage through Noah. So 32.
Genesis 5:32. And Noah was 500 years old, and Noah begat Shem, Ham, and Japheth.
Okay, so now he begets Shem, Ham, and Japheth. All right, so now you know that he has these three sons, okay? And he's having these children at 500 years old. So you have to understand the power, the special nurturing of man at that time, that we were able to even live these times. Nowadays, we're lucky we live 60 years old. Why? Because we're eating pork, shrimp, and lobster, because we have polluted the land, because we pollute ourselves in our ideologies and in all the chemicals that we take in. A lot of things that create to the demise of man at an early age in this time, in this present time. But let's focus. Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Okay, so let's go to let's jump to chapter 7. Okay, so we're jumping over to chapter 7 because you know there's things that happen in between here. But if we were gonna read the entire Bible here, we'll be here a year. Okay, so let's continue. 7 and 13.
Genesis 7:13. In the selfsame day entered Noah and Shem and Ham and Japheth, the sons of Noah, and Noah's wife, and 3 wives of his sons, with them into the ark.
Okay, so this is going to be the nucleus over here of how the generations are going to expand from here on out. But now we're going to establish how the Lord, out of these 3 men, is going to establish a seed through one man. All right. So, all right, let's start with 9 and 1.
Genesis 9:1. And God blessed Noah and his sons, and said unto them, Be fruitful and multiply, and replenish the earth.
Okay, self-explanatory. He tells them, replenish the earth. Okay, jump down to verse 9.
Verse 9. And I behold, I establish my covenant with you, and with your seed after you.
Okay, so he's establishing a covenant with Noah. So let's see where he carries this covenant through. So now we're not just speaking. So you're already seeing that the covenant is being established from the beginning. Okay, so just to show that the new covenant or any covenant is not from any particular time. It was established before the world even began, before the foundation of the earth even began. Okay, the covenant, he already had who he selected. He had his elect selected for this purpose, to herd them throughout throughout the generations, throughout time. Okay, so let's read. Jump down to verse 22 and read through 27.
Verse 22.
I may stop you in between there. Okay, go ahead. Verse 22.
And Ham, the father of Canaan, saw the nakedness of his father, and told his 2 brethren without.
Okay, continue.
And Shem and Japheth took a garment, and laid it upon both their shoulders, and went backward, and covered the nakedness of their father. And their faces were backward, and they saw not their father's nakedness.
Okay.
And Noah awoke from his wine, and knew that his younger son had done unto him. And he said, Cursed be Canaan, a servant of servants shall be unto his brethren.
Okay, so hold there. All right, so are you seeing now there's a curse already being put on one of them. So, all right. So we're going to go to chapter 10. All right. I'm glad that you're getting ahead of me there. And let's go through 2 and 4. From 2 to 4, verse 2 to 4, and we're going to establish the lineage of Japheth.
Okay. Chapter 10, verse 2, Genesis. The sons of Japheth, Gomer, and Magog, and Madai, and Javan, and Tubal, and Meshech, and Tiras.
Okay.
And the sons of Gomer, Ashkenaz, and Riphath, and Togarmah. And the sons of Javan, Elisha, and Tarshish, Kittim, and Dodanim.
Okay, so now there's some of these names still are in existence today. For example, Ashkenaz. You've heard of the Ashkenazi Jew, okay? So, but these are not the real Jews. But they say, hey, Ashkenazi, because where? They came from the north, okay? These are the progenitors of what is called the white races. Gog and Magog. Magog is actually what we know as Russia today. Okay, so like I've said in prior lessons, there's 18 nations in the Bible, and we all stem from these 18 nations. So read 10 and 5 again. I read this to
10
begin.
and 5, it says, by these were the isles of the Gentiles divided in their lands, everyone after his tongue, after their families, in their nations.
So now it's stating that from Japheth start what will become the white races. At this point in time, they are not. But I'm showing you how these will in time transpire to be the white races. And they will be when a certain division comes later down the line, which I'll bring forth. And if you guys want a good reference book to the historic lineages of these people from what's considered the motherland of Jerusalem. It says that Jerusalem is the center of the universe, and everything else around it, which would be northern Africa, from where all this life stemmed from. You can go to a book. If you pull it out, it's From Babylon to Timbuktu. Okay, or it's right in there. Let me just show you what it looks like, so you guys can, pick it up, and all this good information as to the understanding of where this lineage comes from. All right, From Babylon to Timbuktu. All right, Rudolph R. Windsor. You might want to pick this up. It's a good read, and you can see how he does the breakdown of these lineages and how we stem from these certain people. Okay, so I hope I do him justice in this breakdown. All right, so moving forward, read 6. This is gonna explain the lineage of Ham.
It says, Genesis 10, verse 6, and the sons of Ham, Cush, and Mizraim, and Phut, and Canaan.
Okay, there's 7.
And the sons of Cush, Sheba, and Havilah, and Sabta, and Raamah, and Sabteka. And the sons of Ramah, Sheba, and Dedan.
Okay, all right. So there's a good name in there that you could recognize. The Cushites, Cush, Sheba, the queen of Sheba, right? She was a queen of that land, Sheba. So these people, this is history in our Bible. So this is not a fantasy. This is not no storybook. This is our history in the making. Okay, so. And Cush begot Nimrod, and he'll be the mighty one on earth. And there's another lesson as to who Nimrod is and what paganistic festival, I repeat, paganistic festival we celebrate in commemoration of this guy Nimrod. Okay? But I'll give you a clue. It ain't Santa, and it ain't Jesus. Okay? it's an homage to Nimrod. And so, if you guys are into these uh, rituals, feast, holidays, because you got to understand that our holy days, look at the play on word, our holy days were changed to holidays. Okay, this is the work of the enemy diverting us from this lineage. So I don't want to get too off the beaten track because there's a lot to cover here. But and sometimes I get into other lessons before time, but I don't want to do that. All right, so I want to stick to the plan here. But I just want to show you that our lineage has divinity involved in it, and this is why we have to keep to what is prescribed by the Most High God and not by man. All right, so we covered Ham. So now we're gonna jump to chapter 11 because Shem gets his own chapter. I guess I wonder why. All right, so we broke down all the Japheth's people, which are the right races. Oh, by the way, before we jump to 11, so now Sheba, Cush, Cushites, all these, the Queen of Sheba, you know this is African based. So these will be your future Hamites, okay, from the people of Ham that are your today Africans, okay? And continuing to Shem. On chapter 11, let's start at verse 1 through 9 so we can get a quick I'll just jump for time's sake. Verse 1 through 9 is the explanation of the story of Babel. Okay? So this is the history of Babel. And so what these people, they were all under one language. And so in their already in the iniquity, the seed of iniquity is still within them. So they're already trying to exalt themselves as God. They want to build this tower to reach the heavens. And God says, yo, this is a no-no. We're going to have to now start doing something to break these people and start separating them. Okay, so this is the separation. So let's quickly to establish that. Let's start from 8. All right.
1 verse 8. Chapter 11, 8.
11 and 8. Mm-hmm.
So the Lord scattered them abroad from thence upon the face of all the earth, and they left off to build the city.
Okay, continue.
Therefore is the name of it called Babel, because the Lord did there confound the language of all the earth. And from thence did the Lord scatter them abroad upon the face of all the earth. Okay,
so now this is where separation begins and scattering begins. So this is where a migration, an example of a migration of people start going about. And now they're going about in their own languages. So common sense would tell you everybody that's speaking the same thing are going to group together and move one way. Everybody's that's speaking the same thing going to move another way and go there, and they're going to establish their nations. Okay, so going on to 10, because this is now the Most High has a certain beautiful algorithm to this Bible, because he's actually showing you, if you take the time and you're in the right spirit and you're keeping his commandments, the Lord is going to open up the mysteries of this word to you. And so you see that all this context is focused on all this separation of these people with a confounded language, and then he puts a focus on Shem after this historical story is told. So, continue. 11 and 10. Read.
These are the generations of Shem. Shem was 100 years old and begat Arphaxad 2 years after the flood.
Okay, so these are the generations of Shem. So now he chose to, after the story, start focusing on Shem. There's a specific reason why we're going to focus on Shem here, because Shem is going to produce our great-great-grandfather. When I say great, our great-grandfather. Okay, so real quickly for the sake of time, from Shem, begot Salah. Salah begets Eber. Eber begets Peleg. And Peleg begets Ru. And Peleg, after Ru, begets Serug. And then from Serug, Nahor. And then from Nahor to Terah.
Terah was the father of Abraham.
And then Terah, and that's where I'm trying to jump down, begot Abraham. Okay? Nahor and Haran begot Lot. So Lot being the nephew of Abraham, and we know that Lot comes in with the story of Sodom and Gomorrah. All right, and then Abraham has a relationship to Lot in wanting to save Lot from the demise of Sodom and Gomorrah. Again, there is a story of salvation there, so you guys could start getting an understanding what salvation is. I'm jumping a little ahead, but this is what salvation is. When destruction is going to come upon his people, and he saves an elect. So at that point, only Lot and his family was the elect, and even not all of them made it out, because we know that Lot's wife got turned into a pillar of stone for backsliding, right? What she did, she turned away. That was a kind of like an allegory or a proverbial message to show that she turned back. All right, and in turning back, she got petrified by nuclear laser fire from the Most High. Okay, when he said when he burnt down Sodom and Gomorrah. But so here we go, from Shem all the way through the lineages, we establish Abraham. Now, if you know, Abraham is one of our greatest forefathers. He is considered the father of faith. Okay, this is where the Lord starts demonstrating the power of faith in His words. Okay, so we're establishing that from early. Okay, this didn't come from the concept of faith. Didn't come from Christ. It came from the beginnings of times. All right, and so now jumping over from Abraham. So Abraham steps on the scene. So let's go jump to chapter, and we're still in Genesis 13 and verse 14 through 16.
Right, Genesis 13. Verses 14 through 15. And the Lord said unto Abram, after that Lot was separated from him, lift up now thine eyes, and look from that place where thou art, northward and southward and eastward and westward. For all the land which thou seest, to thee will I give it, and to thy seed forever.
Hold that. Seed. Now he's going to give it to him and his seed forever. Forever, forever. Okay? Because this goes throughout time. Forever doesn't stop. For as far as I know, forever doesn't stop. You know the forever does have a conclusion? I mean, forever means for always, right? It don't stop. All right. So, we read 16 for me.
And I will make thy seed as the dust of the earth, so that if a man can number the dust of the earth, then shall thy seed also be numbered.
All right, so this is where the newer prophets towards the Newer Testament quote things and say as it is written. Now you see that this has been written since the beginnings of time, because in newer verse, the sands and the sands of the sea and as the stars that where we cannot be numbered, right? So we're moving on, but this was said later on by the prophets. Okay, they used this to illustrate how numerous Israel would be, but we're of course not as much as the rest of the entire people on the planet, but we will be large in number. All right, but still that one third of salvation is just unto Israel. So it's one third of the planet, which may be millions, but not billions. Okay, so and as far as I know, Christianity has probably like 2 billion members. So can't be them, because at 2 billion people, we would have been up and out of here already. We would have had our numbers. All right. So I don't want to confuse you by getting into other lessons, or diverting from this lesson. Just know that there's a whole master plan with all of this, and it comes from the divine power of the Most High God of Israel. Okay, so can you read? So okay, we established Shem unto Abraham. Give me, because I've been saying this for a while, get me Ephesians chapter 1 and read 4 and 5 for me. This is just to substantiate what I'm saying, as far as, well, we'll let the word speak for it, because I've said it plenty. Let's let the word say it.
Ephesians, come back.
First chapter,
Sir.
verse 4 and 5.
Okay. Ephesians chapter 1, verse 4. According as he hath chosen us in him before the foundations of the world,
Ooh.
that we should be holy and without blame before him in love. Verse 5. Having a predestinated us unto the adoption of children by Yahushua Christ to himself, according to the good pleasure of his will.
So according to the good pleasure of will, he says, these are the people I'm going to choose. This is what I'm going to do with them. This is how I'm going to carry them throughout time. And it was all determined before he even created it. So he already had the blueprint for it before he built it. Okay? So now we're going to start checking out who is the seed of Abraham. Through what seed does this? So we're going to jump to chapter 17 down to 19.
And God said, Sarah, thy wife, shall bear thee a son indeed, and thou shalt call his name Isaac. And I will establish my covenant with him for an everlasting covenant, and with his seed after him.
All right. With his seed. Here we go again. So here we go. Jumping from Abraham to Isaac, and the promise and that covenant continues through Isaac. And with his seed after him. That seed that goes on forever. Okay? And so let's read so now I want to make this point. Isaac has a brother. Okay? And his name is Ishmael. But you're going to see that the promise is not to him. Read 20.
And as for Ishmael, I have heard thee. Behold, I have blessed him, and I will make him fruitful. I will multiply him exceedingly. 12 princes shall he beget, and I will make a great nation.
Which that nation is the Ishmaelites. From Ishmael comes all that you know as the Arabs, okay? And that's why they have their princesses and their kings, and they still are considered a royal lineage. But, read 21, but.
It says, verse 21, but my covenant will I establish with Isaac, which Sarah shall bear unto thee at this time in the next year.
Who will he establish his covenant with?
With Isaac, Isaac.
Okay, so all right, so he just cut it up right there. There's a separation. You know, I'm gonna bless your son. You know, this is the consideration to Abraham. I'm gonna bless your son. I'm gonna give him a bountiful lineage, but my promise, the covenant, is going to be established through Isaac. So even though these are two brothers, one is going his way and the other one has a purpose. Okay, so Let's jump down. Now we're gonna jump down to we're gonna go over to Genesis 25. Well, let's just get to it. Genesis 25:21. Start.
Genesis 25:21. And Isaac entreated the Lord for his wife, because she was barren. And the Lord was entreated of him. And Rebekah, his wife, conceived.
Okay. So Rebekah, his wife, conceived. So let's see who she conceives. Continue.
And the children struggled together within her. And she said, If it be so, why am I thus? And she went to inquire of the Lord Yahweh.
All right, so these two children, these two infants in her womb, they're already giving her problems in her womb. They're in a struggle within her. Okay, so continue.
And Yahweh said unto her, Two nations are in thy womb, and two manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels.
Hold that. I want you to read that again.
Genesis 25, verse 23. And Yahweh said unto her, Two nations are in thy womb, and two manner of people shall be separated from thy
two
bowels.
manner of people. Two manner of people. Focus on this. Shall be separated from thy bowels. Continue.
And the one people shall be stronger than the other people, and the elder shall serve the younger.
Okay. All right. But there's a time frame when this elder will serve the younger, and then vice versa, and then back again. Okay. So, we would have to break down that whole lesson, but again, we're establishing the lineage that God is carrying throughout the generations. So we read
25, 26, 25, 25.
No, we're gonna start now. Now that was 23.
Yeah, that was 25, 25.
Read 24.
It says, And when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her
Twins.
womb.
These are twin brothers. Okay. So let's see what the first one sounds like.
And the first came out red all over like a hairy garment.
Verse 25. Go ahead.
And they called his name Esau.
Okay. The first came out red all over like a hairy garment, and they called him Esau. All right. This will be the progenitor of one nation. Okay. And so let's ask ourselves, why is there being put an emphasis on this child's color and texture? Because he's not the norm. Okay? He's not the norm. Read 26.
Genesis 25, 26. And after that came his brother out, and his hand took hold on Esau's heel, and his name was called Jacob. And Isaac was 80 years old when she bare them.
So there's no description as to how Jacob came out, because he was the norm. He came out looking like every other baby in that time. But they put an emphasis on the description and the texture and the color of the skin of this so-called Esau. So here we have Jacob and Esau. Let's see through whom that covenant, that seed, through what seed does that covenant, that promise continues. All right, so we're going to establish this. We're going to read Romans 9 and 13. We're going to the New Testament to see what was said in the Old about Jacob. In fact, you know what? Let's go to the Old first.
25?
No, let's go to the Old. Go get me Malachi 1, chapter 1. So you could, I'm going to show you a pattern of how the newer prophets quote the older. Okay?
All right, Malachi. Malachi chapter 1. Come on.
And you know what? I was going to go through Romans 9 and 13 first just to establish something, but we're going to do it in reverse because either way it'll work. Right. Malachi 1 and verse 2 through 5.
Malachi chapter 1 verse 2. I have loved you, said Yahweh, yet ye say, wherein hast thou loved us? Was not Esau Jacob's brother, said Yahweh? Yet I loved Jacob, and I hated Esau.
Hold that. You're telling me that the Lord hates?
Chapter 1 verse 3. And I hated Esau.
He hated Esau. Okay, so, you know, this goes into my lesson of God is love. I mean, that's a cut on God is love because he's love to Jacob. And Jacob is the forefather of the 12 tribes of Israel. So he has love for Jacob. He doesn't have love for everyone else or Esau. To boot, Esau is the progenitor of the Edomites. So hence he hates the Edomites. Okay, so continue. Did you go through 5?
Malachi chapter 1 verse 3. And I hated Esau and laid his mountains and his heritage waste for the dragons of the wilderness.
Okay.
Verse 4. Whereas Edom said, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. Thus said Yahweh, they shall build, but I will throw down. They shall call them the border of wickedness.
Ooh.
And the people against whom Yahweh had indignation for.
Okay, and he has this indignation forever too. And so this is a prime distinction between the love for Jacob and the hatred for Esau, which he changed his name to Edom, hence the birth of the Edomites. Okay, so are we done with that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let's go to Romans 9 and 13 to see. Paul quoted this.
Romans 9:13. As it is written, Jacob have I loved, but Esau have I hated.
Where was it written? It was written in Malachi. Okay? So, hence, he quoted, Jacob have I loved, Esau have I hated. Your favorite prophet of all times, our great brother Paul, quoted that there's hatred and love amongst two nations. Okay? In the eyes of Yahweh. Okay? Not so much in us, because we want to follow our enemies' doctrines and dogma and Western mindset school of thought to say we have to love everyone. When not even the Most High has ever taught this. I'm teaching separation. Throughout this whole lesson, you've seen a distinct separation through his seed and everyone else. Okay? So, let's jump to Genesis 32. Chapter 32. And we're going to read verse 28.
Genesis 32, verse 38.
28.
28. Salakia. And hast not suffered me to kiss my sons and my daughters? Thou hast now done foolishly in doing so?
This is 32 and 28? No, 32.
That was 31. Salakia, 31.
32 and 28.
Chapter 32, 28. And he said, thy name shall be called no more Jacob, but Israel. For as a prince hast thou power with God and with men, and has prevailed.
Okay, so now, guess what? Israel is not this geographical place. This is a name that was put on a land way after, okay? Because it was the promised land of the Israelites. Okay, so hence it was Israel. But it stems from the name of Jacob that was changed to Israel, and he becomes the forefather, the progenitor of the Israelites. The 12 tribes come from Jacob, aka Israel. All right, so let's go down to Exodus chapter 2 and 24. All right, fast forward in time. Here we go.
Exodus chapter 2, verse, which one?
24.
24. And God heard their groaning, and God remembered his covenant with Abraham, with Isaac, and with Jacob.
Okay? Again, we are reaffirming this covenant. How can this be for everyone? How can this be for the entire planet? How can we're establishing from the beginning that he's saying forever? God is not one. In fact, let's go to Malachi chapter 3. Malachi 3 and 6.
Read?
Yeah, read.
Okay, Malachi chapter 3, verse 6. For I am Yahweh, I change not. Therefore, ye sons of Jacob are not consumed.
Okay, what does he mean by ye sons of Jacob are not consumed? The reason you're not consumed is because he made these promises to you. He made this covenant unto you. That's why you're not consumed. And he's establishing that he changes not. So because he doesn't go back on his word, because he wouldn't be a God of gods. He wouldn't be the God of Israel, which he establishes throughout the whole entire role. How could he be the God of gods and God of Israel and then say later down the line, oh, you know what? Forget what I said. Let's do this. He wouldn't be firm to his word. He wouldn't be a man of his word. He wouldn't be he wouldn't keep a promise. He would break a promise if he would go back on his word. If this is not common sense thinking, then I don't know. Again, I always ask this, and I will always ask this through my channels. If anybody can debunk me by telling me who has the authority to debunk the Most High God and says that God did change his word, that he was contradictory to what he said, please contact me and I will abandon everything that I do. Moving forward, I get emotional because I get in the mindset of how our people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge and put these weird Disneyland thoughts in their head. And that's where I start raising my voice like a trumpet and showing my people their transgressions. That's where I get emotional because I have a zeal for this word. I have a zeal for the love that I have for my God, which is keeping the commandments. For this is the love of God, that we shall keep the commandments. So I put in this work for me to get really emotional about people being really ignorant in their head. And mishandling this word. Yes, thank you. All right, so I hope that rant didn't go too long because I gotta cover that. So we were all right. So we good. Boom. We're all through the lineages, right? So we're already established that everything's with Jacob. And so I'll give you a quick summary. Jacob has 12 sons, and through these 12 sons are created the 12 tribes of Israel. Okay. I can break down the 12 tribes, but I think I already did that in a previous lesson. Just a quick summary. Through the 12 tribes, through Joseph comes 2 more tribes, but they assume 2 positions in those 12 tribes of the sons because Joseph's sons, Ephraim and Manasseh, get blessed, and so they take on the tribe, which is still it's a connection to Joseph, but the tribe of Dan gets consumed because why? And I just a quick story, like, and this just happened yesterday before I gave this story. They get consumed because of their idolatry. They're wanting to serve other gods and adopting stupid doctrines from our enemies, from the people that round about us. That's why be ye separate. 2 Corinthians 6 and 17. Be ye separate. That's why. Because we get around these people and we take on this negative fruit, this poison fruit, which that's another piece of a jerky nugget that I'm throwing at you, the poison fruit. We take this on and we get poisoned by them. We get infected by them. And we get infected by their nonsense. So just a quick short story. I'm at the Dollar Tree yesterday buying some stuff real quick. And I see this woman. She must have like between 10 and 15 candles. Okay? And these candles have all type of these weird Catholic saints, and a bunch of them had this white Jesus on them. Now this is an Israelite woman, an unaware Israelite woman, a sleeping Jake, right? And I tell her, hey, seriously, just out of curiosity, what are you using these candles for? I was hoping she told me that she couldn't pay her light bill and she was going to use them to light up her house or something. But she tells me, oh, it's for a dead person. And I say, by lighting these candles, what is it supposed to do? It's just my beliefs. What beliefs? Where did you get this nonsense from? Have you ever come across anything about lighting candles for the dead in the scriptures?
Not
as a practice of our people? Okay. So then on top of that, I told her, okay. So I point to the cracker Caesar Borgia. So if you know, Caesar Borgia is and if you don't know, Google Caesar Borgia and tell me if you don't see a white Jesus or image that they use to propagate the white Jesus on there. Okay? Just Google Caesar Borgia. All right? So I see this white cracker Caesar Borgia on the candle, and I say, so who's this? She says, Jesucristo. Jesus. And I'm like, are you serious? So you want to exalt this white cracker as your God? Do you not know that, first of all, the Bible gives you a description of his skin color? And do you not know that the white man did this in the Renaissance era, which is the birth of white supremacy, to lighten the darker images, to exalt themselves as gods, so we can look at them as deities and as gods? And I broke this down to her, and it didn't make a dent. Why? Because it's not in her spirit to know this. It's not in her spirit. She wants to keep conforming to what her enemy has taught her. She wants to keep conforming to the doctrines and dogmas of the enemy.
Traditions of men.
The traditions of men. That's what I saw. So you're not going to serve God. You're going to serve man. So you're still going to buy those candles. I didn't expect her to really have an epiphany right there and say, no, okay, take these away from me. That would have been a great blessing. I would have been praising Yahweh to the tops of my lungs if something like that would have happened. But yeah, she said, yeah, I'm going to still do it. Okay. All right. Well, you know that this day is going to be brought up in your to recognition when you go before judgment for it. Okay. And I left it at that. So this is what I'm trying to tell you, man. Be ye separate. And this is part of the lesson. This is what I'm trying to... I still haven't titled this, but it's going to be something to that effect. God is a separatist. Be ye separate. Difference between Gentiles and Israel. Okay, so let's start getting some good, juicy verses, because we're going up on an hour here. So I want to just start wrapping this up. So we're just going to start hitting these precepts and precepts and precepts. Boom. Isaiah 49 and 6. This is where I need you to be. What's that guy? Hot sauce, Mr. Fingers, whatever, man. Just be. Let's go through these real quick.
Isaiah chapter 49 verse 6. And he said, it is a light thing that thou shouldest be my servant, to raise up the 12 tribes of Jacob, and to restore the preserved of Israel. I will also give thee for a light to the Gentiles, that thou mayest be salvation unto the end of the earth.
Okay, we already established who's going to be salvation unto the end of the earth. So people will take this verse and try to twist it and say, no, but he said you're going to be light to the Gentiles for salvation. Okay, understand that there's many people like us, like that woman in the dollar store that is assuming Gentile customs, that in her mind she thinks she's a Gentile, and I have to try to break that evil spirit to try to have them wake up. Well, I'm not trying. I'm just gonna put out the sound of the trumpet. I'm gonna put out the voice of the pastor, and the sheep shall hear my voice. Right, and that's it. So if it was meant for her to wake up, she would be, oh my God, well, take these away from me. Right, what I would have wished would have happened. Right, so it didn't. Okay, dust my feet, move on. Right, so but let's get this straight. We are a light to the Gentiles because we have to, they're going to bear witness that we are the sons of the living God. They're going to bear witness. So that we're going to be a light in that manner too. Okay? But the light to salvation is for those Israelites that are scattered abroad, the lost sheep of Israel. Okay, here we go. Give me Isaiah 2:1. Salakia.
Isaiah chapter 42 and verse 1.
Mm-hmm.
Behold my servant whom I uphold, mine elect, in whom my soul delighteth. I have put my spirit upon him, he shall bring forth judgment to the Gentiles.
So I just said that we're not going to be the light to the Gentiles for salvation, the real Gentiles, the Goy, the ethnos, the heathen, okay? It's to our seed, our generation, our people, right? So to the other ones, we are going to be what?
It says, we'll bring forth judgment to the Gentiles.
We'll be the judges of those Gentiles, okay? We'll bring forth judgment, okay? Moving forward, let's go. We're going to pick up the speed here. Ezekiel 4 and 13.
4.
And this is to 4 and 13. And this is to drive home the point. I'm going to drive it a little bit that we are these so-called Gentiles scattered amongst the nations, and we need to start waking up to who we really are. Go ahead. Ezekiel 4 and 13. Read.
Ezekiel 4:13. And the Lord said, even thus shall the children of Israel eat their defiled bread among the Gentiles, whither I will drive them.
Where I will drive them. The Lord drove you to be amongst these people, and this is why you eat that defiled bread. Ezekiel 32 and 10.
Ezekiel 32 and 10. Yeah, I will make many people amazed at thee, and their kings shall be horribly afraid for thee, when I shall brandish my sword before them, and they shall tremble at every moment, every man for his own life in the day of thy fall.
This is 32 and 10?
32 and 10. Ezekiel 32 and 10.
Okay. All right. So this is just more judgment upon the heathen.
The heathen?
Right. Okay. So let me give you a precept to light of the Gentiles of Israel in Luke 2 and 32. Just to precept it with some New Testament stuff, because we don't want no Christianity doctrine peeping in at the channel and say, oh well, he's only staying to the Old Testament. I told you this is a whole roll that we have to eat completely. Christ is the volume of the book, and if the prophet said it in the New Testament, guess what? More than likely they got it from the Old. Read.
Luke 2 verse
32.
32. A light to lighten the Gentiles, and the glory of thy people Israel.
The glory of thy people Israel. Okay, so you're going to be a lantern for those lost sheep, and you're going to be a light to those other Gentiles that deny you. right? So I should be giving you the precept for where you was called not my people. You will be called the sons of the living God. Okay? All right. So, and guess what? It'll be down there when I say it. I'll just put it in the notes. Or the reference verses, precepts that come about when I say them, just to show you that I don't speak out of my mind. I speak thus saith the Lord. Okay, Galatians. Wait. Let's not jump to Galatians yet. Let's prove the point that we've been driven. This is a real point that we've been driven. All right, we just didn't pop up here out of nowhere, Gentile people. We come from distinct nations and seed lines. Okay, so Jeremiah 16 and 15. We come from. I wish people would just. Well, this is the hope and the love thy neighbor from your brothers and sisters in Israel, that we are desperately trying to awake the sleeping tribes. I am desperately working with the Northern Kingdom because we just got to get these numbers so we can be out of here. So people start waking up to this truth. This has been a conspiracy against you to twist your the mind control, brother. They've been mind controlling you to believe something. You are falling into dogma and crazy doctrines that you do not understand. We need to come back to the milk of this word and see it verbatim, as thus saith the Lord. It's plain. But you've been blinded by the spirits of iniquity and blinded through your own transgressions. That's why the Lord is not going to allow you to see these things, because you don't keep his commandments. Start keeping his commandments. Reach out to your brothers and sisters in Israel so they can teach you what you need to do, so you can start getting vision, so you can wake up to this truth, so you can start seeing the hidden treasures of this Bible. All right, so Jeremiah 16 and 15. Read.
16:15. But the Lord Yahweh liveth, that brought up the children of Israel from the land of the north, and from all the lands whither he had driven them, and I will bring them again into their land that I gave unto their fathers.
Okay, bro. We are promised a land. We will go back to the land. We will go back and establish a kingdom. B'Shem HaMashiach Yahweh Shai, we will establish this. All right, when HaMashiach comes back and he just does away with all this iniquity and puts us back in our land. This is the promise. Okay, this will be fulfilled. God will not go back in his word, and he's going to get us from all the lands he has driven us, recollect us. That's why we are that mouthpiece. We're putting out the beacon. We are putting out the signal. We're blowing that trumpet for you to wake up. This is the sound of the trumpet. The time is nigh. It's at hand. Okay, this grace that you're talking about, which is going to be my next lesson, has a time limit. This is a ticking time clock, and it's at its end. When Yahweh Shai comes back, your grace is over. All right, 1 Corinthians 12 and 2. All right, and
1 Corinthians 12:2. Yes,
okay,
sir.
let's get that.
Yea, know that ye were Gentiles, carried away until these dumb idols, even as ye were led.
Okay, so I don't know how many verses, and tell me. I would love to drive this point on for a minute, but we're going on a minute 10 here. I mean, I got dozens of more verses that prove this migratory event that happened to our people, where we were scattered all apart, all over. And there's a big, major concentration that the bulk of the Israelites are here in the Americas, from north all the way to the south and the Caribbean. No, if you are black, so-called black, I don't even like to use that. My watch is black. I can't take a plane ride to the land of black. Half the time I ask you your nationality, you tell me you're African American. How can you be from two continents? And then when I ask you where in Africa you're from, you don't know. You only know your life post-slavery. You don't even know where they got you from. You was abiding in Negro land in Africa. Yes, Negro land. It sounds like some fictitious place like Legoland or something, but they were calling you the Negroes forever. And when they chose to conspire against you, the Africans, which are not your people, they are the Canaanites, as I explained in the beginning of this lesson, the Cushites, the Hamites, they conspired against you. They said, get these Negroes off our land and drive them into slavery. They sold your ass. All right? Along with the Portuguese, which is the European, and the Arab. And Queen Isabella and all them crackers. So let's wake up to this, brothers and sisters. Let's wake up to this. All right. So I'll probably give that. Hey, this is the verse. You know what? I'm just gonna write it in the bottom. The children of the living God. It's Hosea 1:10. It's also Romans 9:26. I should have quoted it on the precept when I was paraphrasing it. You can go research it. It'll be down there at the bottom for you to research it. I'm going to jump through this real quick. So basically, man, I already established. We can go to Acts. Let's just go real quickly to Acts 13, 23 to 24 to establish a little more of the seed. I mean, I'm beating a dead horse if you're not really seeing this. I really am, because I think I brought enough evidence. But if you need just a little more, I'll give you some more. Acts 13 and 23.
It says, of this man's seed hath God, according to his promise, raised unto Israel a Savior, Yahushua.
Okay, you know what? Let's just move on, because if I have to even continue explaining this, of this man's seed, I raised up a Savior. All right, this is for whom Christ came. In fact, give me Matthew 1 and 23, man, so we could just show them that who Christ came for. To show you that this is not even opened up at any point for anyone.
Matthew chapter 1, verse 23.
Mm-hmm.
Behold, a virgin shall be with child, and shall bring forth a son, and they shall call his name Emmanuel, which being interpreted is God with us.
Who's the us? Continue.
Then Joseph, being raised from sleep, did as the angel of the Lord had bidden him, and took unto him his wife, and he knew her not till she had brought forth her firstborn son.
Mm-hmm. So and I want to get to the meat of that verse. Excuse me. We overshot it. Read 21. Go up to 20.
And she shall bring forth a son, and she shall call his name Yahushua, for he shall save his people from their sins.
His people. We know that Christ is the Lion of Judah. He comes from the 12 tribes. He is an Israelite. He is here to save his people. In this verse, it didn't say the entire planet, the world, that you guys confuse. So if you don't know the breakdown of the world, go to my class of John 3:16 breakdown. It's in bilingual. All right. So you can get it and understand that breakdown. Let's just go. All right, let me get let me get two from the old too. Jeremiah 11 and 10, man. I love eating this whole roll from the beginning to the end and back and forth. All right, and that's how the Lord, again, I've brought this verse, this precept out plenty of times. To whom is given knowledge? Him that is weaned from the milk and drawn from the breast. For precept must be upon precept, line upon line, here a little, there a little.
You got Jeremiah
It'll
what?
be down there. All right, Jeremiah 11 and 10.
Jeremiah 11:10. They are turned back to the iniquities of their forefathers, which refused to hear my words, and they went after other gods to serve them. The house of Israel and the house of Judah have broken my covenant which I made with their fathers.
Okay? So, if you don't get this promise, it's because you broke your own covenant. It's because you separated yourself from the Most High God. Okay? Because you won't wake up to this truth. Because you refuse to follow God's law, statutes, and commandments. Because you give yourself unto dumb idols. Because you want to worship the creation instead of the creator. Because you want to worship wood and stone. Okay? And false gods. And idolatry is running rampant through our people. Especially the Northern Kingdom. You Mexicans, you Guatemalans, you Ephraimites, Puerto Ricans, Dominicans, Haitians, Voodoo, Santeria, Catolicismo, Santos pa' aquí, Santos pa' allá, Guadalupes, you name it. Everything but the Most High God, Yahweh. And then you want your father to take care of you. This is like a little rebellious child that doesn't want to do nothing. You don't want to do ish that your parents tell you, but then you want them to take you to Walmart and buy you a video game. You're mad out of your mind. I got a bunch of precepts that can really go still into the disbursement, into the scattering, just the separation between Gentiles. But I think I really drove in this point really good. Let me just wrap up with saying this, just so that you furthermore to corroborate that these laws and everything are given to us, right? So when it says that we do transgression and we do, if a law is given to someone, only the person that is given to can break it, right? So if a Mexican person is in Mexico, he can't abide by American laws. And so if he's applying American laws over there and then breaking them, nobody's really going to care because that law is not in effect over there. Okay? And just like you can't apply any other nation's laws here in America, you got to abide by American law. So only Americans abide by American law. They don't go take their law standards and apply them elsewhere where they may differ. So the laws are given to us. So sin is transgression of the law. So when you're breaking the law, you are sinning. Okay? So all these laws, statutes, and commandments were given to Israel. So this is one of my verses that I like to call the shotgun, because how do you get around this? Romans 9 and 4.
Who are Israelites? To whom pertaineth the adoption and the glory and the covenants and the giving of the law and the service of God and the promises.
Who are who?
Whose are the fathers, and whom as concerning the flesh Yahushua came, who is over all.
Who came?
Yahushua came.
And what's the beginning of 9 and 4?
It says concerning the flesh.
Who are who? And the beginning of verse 4?
Who are the Israelites?
Who are who?
Who are the Israelites?
That's it. I mean, who are the Israelites? All right? I mean, how do you get around that? All right? There's so many other verses that I could drive that point on. You got anything you wanna bust out?
Verse 6. Not as though the word of God had taken none effect, for they are not all Israel which call themselves Israel.
Exactly. And let's see what Revelation say about people, certain people that try to call themselves Israel. Not only is there's people that are gonna be dislodged, disannulled from this lineage of our own people. 2/3 of our people are not going to be called Israelites, or will have these promises. Okay, so that even pertains to us. But read Revelations 2 and 9.
I know thy works and tribulation and poverty, but thou art rich. And I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan.
You are the synagogue of Satan. You are going, and that goes for the fake so-called Jewish-ish-ishy. That's very fishy to me, Mr. Ishy. All right, I'm gonna close out with this one, man. Let's close out because we're at 1:21, and so but I think this was a good lesson. Let's go close it out with Matthew 19 and no, actually before that, let me get Revelation 21 and 12. This is the last. I mean, if this ain't the nail in the coffin, then you will go in the coffin and you'll be dead to this. Okay, that's what you are. You will be dead. Okay.
And had a wall great and high.
All right, this is John the Revelator's vision of heaven, of the kingdom. Okay, check out what the kingdom says.
Chapter 21, verse 12, the book of Revelation of Yahushua. And had a great wall and high, and had 12 gates, and at the gates 12 angels, and names written therein, which are the names of the 12 tribes of the children of Israel.
So, if you're not Israel, please explain to me, you're going to hop over the gate? Are you going to dig a tunnel like El Chapo and get in there from the bottom? Or what are you going to do? How are you getting into the kingdom? There are 12 gates with 12 bouncer angels there. Ushering in the 12 children, the 12 tribes of Israel. And for every gate, there's the name of a tribe. And you will go in according to your tribe. That's simple. I mean, I didn't know there was an Edomite gate or a Hamite gate or a gate for anybody else but the 12 tribes of Israel. That's as clear as day. All right, so let's wrap this up with Matthew 19 and 28.
Matthew chapter 19, verse 28. And Yahushua said unto them, Verily I say unto you, that ye which have followed me in the regeneration, when the Son of Man shall sit in the throne of his glory, ye also shall sit upon the 12 thrones, judging the 12 tribes of Israel.
I mean, I don't know if I have to elaborate. How many times do I have to say that this word is written by Israelites, for the salvation of Israelites? The Israelites will be the judges thereof. The Israelites are going to be judged by the Israelites in the kingdom. The 12 tribes of Israel. How much more do you need? Okay? So, and he said that you've been with him. This is even a substantiation of Christ being the whole volume of the book, because he says you've been with me throughout the regeneration, and that's a whole nother lesson in itself. But another piece of beef jerky for you. Regeneration means you've been here before and you've been with him throughout all of the generations that do not end, because Israel is the world without end. They are the ones that have the seed and the promise forever. That's why we've been going through this process, and we're at the closing curtain. So this was your crash course through Yahweh's big film. Well, I'm gonna call this the trailer to the big picture. That's what I think I'm gonna call this, the trailer to the big picture. So I just gave you a crash course of the sea lines, the separations, from the beginning to the end. We are the Israelites. So Kwam Yasharala.
Kwam Yasharala.
All right. So with that being said, I want to say Kahala, Yahweh Bashim, Yahweh Shai, Barakatah. Hallelujah.